For full episodes of the Diverse Mentality podcast, check the links in the description below. The full video version is available on the main channel, and the audio version is available on your favorite streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Rick Ross taunts 50 Cent over BMF earnings. So, I don't even want to get into this shit.
He's always got something to say.
If I get into this, I'm going to start going on a rant. I'm going to talk shit. Yeah, but I have to get into this.
All right, get it.
Rick Ross, richer than I've ever been. The album's a flop. Let's first get that out the way.
And like you said, he's doing this because he knows his album.
Yeah, the album's flopping. William Roberts, the album is flopping. You're doing 22 to 30,000 copies with a major record label budget. What's one way to get conversation, buzz around you, so that people know you've even dropped an album? Mention your enemy, your number one enemy, and hope that he responds, because he responds to a lot of shit. Fortunately for 50, and thankfully, I'm glad, he doesn't give a shit about Rick Ross says anymore. He's been ignoring him for the past 2-3 years.
Yeah,
he hasn't really said shit.
And it's good for him not to respond to Rick Ross,
because he's irrelevant right now. Rick Ross is irrelevant. I don't care about Wingstop.
He's gonna make it. Yeah, if he responds, he's gonna definitely.
It's gonna boost his shit.
Make him some money.
So let's go over what. So Rick Ross did an interview with GQ. To be fair, the GQ person mentioned it, not Rick Ross. So Rick Ross didn't bring up 50 in this interview. The GQ person did. That's to be fair. No. But Rick Ross could have handled this in a more professional way. But, of course, he's going to throw the jabs out there and he's going to say shit. So the interview in GQ said, the interviewer asked, have you been watching BMF, which is 50 Cent's show on Starz, considering your own BMF connection, which means the BMF track apparently he has a connection to Big
Low Money Fast in this one.
Yeah. So he said, man, I saw the first episode. I was trying to support the homie Meech, the incarcerated head of Black Mafia family, whose rise, the 50 Cent, who basically approved the 50 Cent show.
Cap.
He said, these guys in the street, I'm a real guy. I could put my issues with 50 to the side. I know he probably made $250,000 off the whole season. I'm happy he made that quarter. And then he's like, the interviewer laughed at that comment. He's like, that's what he made. Why are you laughing like that? And make sure you put all these details in. I'll never let you interview me again if you take that out. Keep it. But look, I know he made $250,000 off the whole season. That's good. Tell him I said congratulations. Let me first respond to that.
You know what I think, though, just before you get into that? I think that he's just mad because he cannot get in good connection with Meech, man. And he hates the fact that 50 is
That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
And now he's just got to talk some shit.
First off, shame on you media outlets for being stupid enough to fall for this and actually report that Rick Ross knows how much money BMF is making. Rick Ross has no fucking idea. He's not tied to Starz. He's not tied to what 50 does. None of that shit. Him saying $250,000 is straight up trolling. There's no facts behind that at all. I think just the kid himself, Big Meech's son, is making $250,000 off one episode, let alone the whole season. Let's not get it twisted. Starz, when 50 first went on Starz and created Power, he was getting $10,000 an episode, which isn't shit. He said, I could get that in a club appearance. That's no problem. The whole season, I could have got that in a club appearance.
Right.
That wasn't the point, though. You have to start out low and build yourself up, because 50 didn't have a name in the executive TV world. So you have to start off low. So that's why Rick Ross is talking shit about this and saying he only made $250,000, because of that comment of him making $10,000 per episode off the first Power show, first season off Starz. Right. Now that Starz is a huge powerhouse right behind HBO, which HBO pumps, I don't think you guys realize how much money they pump into their shows. 10 times, at least 5 times I think it was 10 times more than Starz pumps to their shows. Because HBO just has insane money. Game of Thrones, the budget for Game of Thrones was ridiculous. Nowhere near Power.
Isn't there a more recent article that came out that says 50 Cent made this much money?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Yeah. I'm not getting. What? So, Game of Thrones, HBO, they're right behind HBO, and they pump probably 60 to 70% less money into their shows for promotion. 50 at this point got a $150 million deal from Starz. Where's Rick Ross? Rick Ross is just hating with this comment, and he's just trying to belittle what 50's doing. The fact of the matter is, Big Meech's son said that Big Meech appreciates 50 Cent more than those people that he had around him when he was popping. He said he gave millions to people around him when he was popping, and they're nowhere to be found. And 50 50's reaching out, helping his son become an actor, a major actor.
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
His son's going to have a whole second life and breed something whole new that he
legal way and
legal
clean,
way. Yeah.
rich gang money.
And that was 50's vision to bring his son into the acting. Because he could have, he's like, even Big Meech was like, man, are you sure my son can act and be me? He's like, nah, man, we'll check it out. We'll see. So, first off, shout out to 50 for creating opportunities for people that never had the opportunity. That's the first
He did
thing.
a lot right now.
A lot for a lot of
past
people.
Couple years.
For a lot of people.
Shit.
So to Rick Ross, if he really likes Big Meech and really has respect for Big Meech, he would acknowledge that and not shit on the whole situation. But he is shitting on it. Congratulations for making 250. Bro, your album did 200, lucky 22,000 to 30,000 copies. You are in the negative with the label. 1,000,000% you are. Right now you're in the red. The only way you're going to try to revamp this is to get 50. You're in the red with the label, 100%. I know that for a fact because I know how much, on average, what labels spend on budgets. If you're on a major label, you have to recoup the money. So right now, what Rick Ross is going to do is tour all over America. Hope he recoups that money and pays back the label. This album was 100% double plastic flop. He knows that. Everyone knows that. You go from 80,000 copies, Port of Miami 2.
Most.
You're relying on your first album title, by the way. Imagine if 50 title his next album, Get Rich or Die Trying to. You're relying on an old album title to sell you records. That's the first thing. Second, you went from 80,000 copies to 30 at best, by the way. It's projected to do 22 to 30,000. So at best, you're going to do 30,000 copies. And then you have these backhanded compliments of talking about, oh, check the scoreboard, I'm killing it, blah, blah, blah. That's the first thing is this. He has no idea about the money being made, and you have to build yourself up. Any business person knows that. So to be shitting on that is just, Rick Ross. Continuing on in this article, the interviewer says, I'll thumb through your IG stories. Talking about 50 reminded me of this because you'll just be like in your crib drinking Bel Air and blasting Lloyd Banks, who is obviously associated with someone you have a very public beef with. And you're nodding along to some classic G-Unit or classic 50 and then yelling, Banks, you need some money? It's very dry and hilarious. And he said, come on, man, be honest. You know it's rough out there. Sometimes you just got to be honest. Tell Lloyd that I'll tell him, come to the promised land, and I'll have a conversation with him, and I'll have no problem with Lloyd Banks.
This guy, man.
This is like Banks has completely destroyed Rick Ross. Like lyrically, if you look at the track Officer Down, the guy just got
I hope
demolished.
just Banks hears this.
He just ignored it. He actually unfollowed me on Twitter because of me posting about this.
And he just gets back in the studio and just does some fucking insane shit.
I'm glad they're not responding. No, I'm glad. I don't want nobody to respond. Rick Ross is irrelevant right now. Just let me get that clear.
Facts.
He's trying to grip at anything.
I think only Drake, like you said, man, has only been one that's been.
Drake's been saving a lot of people's careers. Let's be honest.
That's a
Future.
100%.
You think Future would have had Life Is Good and been blowing up a diamond record without Drake?
Drake is saving Rick Ross 1,000,000,000%.
Right now,
if he did not have those records, I don't see nothing.
The Grammys, he got nominated gold, whatever gold that record is, Gold Roses with Drake.
Yeah, Gold Roses.
The only reason he got nominated because Drake's on it. That's
Yeah.
it. Nobody would give a fuck about that record.
Yeah.
Bro. Let's be honest.
Facts.
Continuing this interview, he said, well, you respected the music when you're rapping along. You were listening to Hate or Love. Remember that clip where he's talking about he's listening,
yeah,
bumping
I
it?
remember.
He's like, what'd I say on that clip? He said, well, you specifically dialed in on the line about his mother. He said, because his mom, he said she was a bull dagger, right? That's what you liked. That was a dope how you said it. So basically, his mom was kissing other women, and she was a lesbian.
Yeah.
But he admitted to that. He thought his mom, my mom kissing a girl, whatever. So he's making fun of that line.
Both.
He said, would you do a comedy? He's like, there's not enough money in acting. That's what I was just saying. Your man made $250,000 for a season doing that. That little season, Starz TV shit. What channel is it really? Look at this guy, dude. He said he's actually on Starz. He's like, that's on Starz? I really was joking. He should have just went to Revolt. Just go to Revolt next time. Tell Curtis I said go Revolt.
The way Rick Ross responds is just obviously he's just jealous of you.
Yeah.
Simple as that, man. I can just that's the energy I'm getting.
He's mad that Maybach Music Group never got to be what G-Unit ever was, by the way. Maybach Music Group is nowhere near the level what G-Unit does. Rick Ross, here's the thing. Rick Ross will never have a Get Rich or Die Trying ever in his career, and he knows that. There's no Rick Ross album that hits, that if you go on the classic list, what do you think of? Chronic. You think of Lil Wayne, The Carter 3 or Carter 2. You think of Kanye West, Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You think of Jay-Z, Blueprint, or whatever, Reasonable Doubt. You think of 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. You think Nas, Illmatic. Do you think Rick Ross, does that come to your mind at all? Like, hey, Rick Ross, like, be 100% honest.
Yeah, to me.
What?
I'm just playing, dog.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah. What album? There's nothing. That's the thing. That's what digs into him.
Hustling.
Because what he said too. This is a while ago on Breakfast Club. He said, "I'd rather release 10 albums and go platinum on 10 albums and do 10 million copies like that than release only one album and do 10 million." First off, 50's done 10 million twice. That's the first thing. Second, you don't even go platinum on your albums. You go gold. Your first album was the only one that went platinum. Everything else went gold. So what is he talking about? This is my problem. Is if he was here doing the interview, I'd be like, listen, this doesn't make any sense what you're saying. In a respectful way, obviously. But he can put hands on me. I don't care. Camera's on. I'll sue the shit out of him. I'm 100% going to sue.
Gross.
But my point is why talk like that? And why don't people check him? Why didn't Charlemagne say, yo, that doesn't make any sense? Like, that's the problem with this is people, he says these things and people don't check him. They're too scared or they're too, oh, I don't want to say anything because he might get mad. Like, just be honest. Be like, nah, man, 50 made more than $250,000 on the show. He just signed a $150 million deal. What are you talking about? I would have been like, what is that? That doesn't make any sense. But
it's simple, man. He just, he hates the fact that, his son is fucking with him.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just jealous.
He hates the fact that Big Meech approved 50 to do the only show that's available. And he didn't reach out to him when he had BMF that record and say, do a show.
No,
that's why.
Because Rick Ross is a fan of Big Meech, man.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Ain't boss enough for it.
Rick Ross is just, he's so delusional. It's and the fact that people even thought that Rick Ross was on the same level of 50 when they're beefing. I was mind blown at that. I get it. He got hot after the 50.
Yeah, he was just hot.
He got a little bit hot.
And then BMF, that record was hot too.
But this motherfucker wasn't worldwide.
I think that's probably one of his best records.
Yeah, but was this motherfucker worldwide? Was everybody in the world bumping this guy?
Yeah, man. I was overseas. I was bumping him.
It's not like 50.
Who that? I was like, boss.